Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy. Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
Yep, Corey can't see. We are so happy to be back. What an unbelievable comedy of errors last week.
Dan, I never left.
We did not mean to take last week off. That was not by design. I went off on a little vacation to Florida, packed up all my shit, brought it in the car, drove it, whatever it is, 1,200 miles, and was fully prepared to do a show.
From Mar-a-Lago.
I was thinking about maybe taking a trip over there. I was trying to play some golf, but I got ill a couple of days before the show. Still planned, while I was on vacation, still planned on doing the show. And I wake up Wednesday morning and my voice is gone, just absolutely blown out. I had no vocal cords to speak of. So Corey and I start thinking, all right, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Oh, we'll do a weekend show, right? We've done that before. We get up, I have a Bloody Mary. Corey has a beer mosa, whatever, and then whatever the hell Bell drinks. And yes. Corey blows out his fucking cornea, which is why he's wearing the sunglasses on tonight's show.
Yeah, the light is still a little bit sensitive.
And Bell's had the plague for like a month, a couple months, whatever it's been. And Corey can't go because he can't fucking see, can't deal with the lights. So I asked Bell, I'm like, hey, how about the two of us go after it on a Sunday morning? And we talked about it like we were going to do it. And then I get a text from Bell at like 10:30 in the morning that goes, hey, man, I'm only available till noon. I was so zonked out that night. I didn't even see that text message until 11. I was asleep until 11 a.m. So we were never able to get to a show on Sunday. It was just an absolute comedy of errors. And then this week, I sound fine now, but I was beside myself because I thought my fucking dog was going to die. She's 13 and she got sick, and I'm fucking losing my shit over this dog. She's not out of the woods yet, but she had an ultrasound today. Nothing scary for those dog people out there that are going, oh, your doggy's sick. Yeah, she's doing well. She's back. She seems to be back to normal, but she's got some elevated liver issues elevated liver numbers that we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But as of right now, she's okay. So finally, here we are a week later, and we have decided to give you some bonus content this week. We are going to do another show Friday since we didn't do one last week. We're going to give you two this week. And yeah, that's it. That's the catch up. That's why we weren't here.
Woo!
Did I sum that up well?
Yeah. Should I give my story of what happened?
Yeah. Why is a man in his 30s playing dodgeball?
Oh, well, you already blew it. You already fucking blew it. I was going to start off like, so there I was on the front lines. So,
what year is it?
So there's an annual dodgeball tournament that we do. That one of our friends, well, he was one of our friends. He had cystic fibrosis, and he would do a dodgeball tournament every year for his birthday, just for the shits and giggles, right? And then last year, as if he was some sort of psychic, he made the joke on the title of the party itself saying, my last dodgeball birthday party ever, because I will not be here next year. And everyone's like, whoa. But he's always made these jokes. He was supposed to die at like 25. And he's always made these fucking jokes. And everyone's like, whoa, dude, that's too dark. And he's like, well, you never know. And then he died. So this year was a
Jesus, that took a dark turn.
Well, he did. I'm not gonna lie and be like, he's still alive. Weekend at Bernie's.
I'm so sorry.
No, but
I wish I could do something, but I can't.
God damn it.
That was dark.
He would have thought that was the funniest fucking thing. That's why it's funny, because he would have.
That's all that matters.
Hilarious. And so we did a fundraiser this year. We gave some money to I believe it's called the Bono, like fundraising group, the charity organization for people with cystic fibrosis. And so we did it at a different venue this year, and the court that they had for dodgeball for us for 20 fucking people was basically one of those racquetball courts. So it was like the size of a garage. And
it sounds like
we
fun.
didn't have the normal foamy dodgeballs that they use. These were like kickballs. And so we did a couple rounds, and then I decided I had to be a good teammate and hand a teammate a ball. And when I turned, I took some balls to the face, and
not the first time. Got
an abrasion on the cornea. Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Literally, like, for anyone who isn't listening, I'm not new to injuries. I got a bunch of
Why would anybody not be listening?
Right. Yeah. For any new listeners, I'm not a stranger to injury. I have metal and fucking rods and plates in my elbow. I got rods and plates in my shoulder, and I would not wish an eye injury on anyone, because it is literally the worst. I was laying in my bed writhing in pain for a whole day.
Yeah,
feeling like I was going insane.
For those who don't know, Corey does not get minor injuries. Like, Corey is the guy that would like sit on a thumbtack and get like a little bleedy spot in his ass, and then get an infection from a dirty hot tub. That is what Corey is. You don't get minor injuries. They're always severe every time.
And to be fair, I dodge, dip, dodge, duck, and dive, like, injuries on the daily.
Not very well.
Yeah, we already know.
I was in a cast, got to get surgery, got pieces of metal in you.
I'm good for.
You've done a hell of a lousy job.
And it slowed down since I stopped getting on boards, because those are what fuck me up. But yeah, I never get minor injuries. I don't get injuries often, but when I do, boy, I do it good. So I'm wearing the safety glasses. Just in general all the time, but right now I'm wearing sunglasses because the light is a little bright. And so I apologize, because it seems that when I'm not here, the show just fucking falls apart. So I really want to personally apologize to the listeners on this one.
Fuck yourself.
I take the blame for all. I take the blame for Dan not being here. I take the blame for Bell. I'm the glue that holds this whole shindig together, that's held together already by toothpicks and fucking rubber bands.
All right, that'll do. Let's get to the meat of this. Let's get to the meat of this here episode, shall we? So because of the dog's illness, right? I'm just
laughing at the title.
I completely forgot about the State of the Union last night until there was like 20 minutes left, and then I had missed like the bulk of it, the bloviating part, right? Because every single State of the Union is the same. It's just a matter of who's giving it. And yeah, Trump's a little more entertaining than anybody else ever has been, but it's really just a stroke fest of yourself if you're the president of the United States, all the wonderful things you've done and all of the wonderful things that you're going to do. The only thing that like really stuck out to me, and maybe it shouldn't have, maybe I should have expected this, was in the highlights or lowlights of the speech that I'm watching earlier today to try to catch up a little bit. I'm going, it's really, really interesting that the MAGA crowd runs around. Yeah, I'm going to pick on the MAGA crowd a little bit. Any new listeners know that we pick on everybody, so everybody calm the fuck down.
Yeah, calm
down. So
calm down! Yeah. You fucking calm down!
That's actual audio of MAGA supporters somewhere throughout the country. It's this idea that like Trump is gonna like end wokeness and we're gonna be done with the culture war stuff. And the first fucking 40 minutes was all culture war shit. Every single fucking thing that he said was all about the culture war. America is woke no more. Did you catch
What
that
does that
too,
even
Corey?
mean? Yeah, what does that
I
even
don't know
mean?
what that
First
means.
off, dude, what kills me is everyone that just like we had Trump for a president for 4 fucking years, right? And now we have him again.
Mm-hmm.
We should all know the fucking gambit. America survives. It's marginal changes on the outskirts, mostly done with executive orders that get overturned as soon as the next guy is in. He just makes a shit ton of noise. Biden did a bunch of terrible fucking things during his presidency, but he was quieter. He didn't have his own social media platform to fucking post random fucking shit on there, right? And I just feel like everyone in America should be smarter than this and know his fucking game. And know that when he's up, like when he does something like, I changed the name of Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. It's like, oh, okay. The fuck doesn't change a single fucking thing in my life or yours. And
nope.
Your egg prices are still wherever they're at, whether you're happy for it or mad about it, depending on which side you're on. Before you were defending it, now you're like shitting on it. And 2 months ago, and now that completely flipped. Now it's the Trumpsters defending egg prices and the people who were Democrats supporting or like attacking the price when like that's literally the same fucking arguments I'm seeing, just opposite ends now as it was fucking 2 months ago. And
you know the 80-20 rule, Corey. Like the way the constituency or the voter base used to be talked about was 10% on far left, 10% on the far right, and the other 80% was kind of somewhere in the middle, right? You had people that leaned a little further right, people that leaned a little bit further left, but that 80% was always kind of somewhere kind of in the middle. I don't even look at it as like left and right anymore. Now I look at it as like NPCs versus versus the quote unquote matrix version of the red pilled people, right? There's 5% on.
To be clear, when you say red pill, you don't mean ideologically like left or right. It's just everyone.
No, right. I mean,
sees the game, right? Like
they
see the way the media changes narratives and switches things up. And yeah.
I mean the way that it's actually used in the Matrix, right? The blue pill is the.
I just think it's important to distinguish.
The blue pill is the NPC sort of. You whatever. I don't know how it's been forever since I've seen the Matrix, but it's just like what you see is what it is, kind of thing. That's the blue pill.
You forget everything, and you go back to your life. That's a
right.
You see how deep
right
it can go. Yeah.
So the actual red pilled people, 10% of us are red pilled. The other 80%, or I'm sorry, 20% of us are red pilled. The other 80% are not. Those are the NPCs. Those are the binary thinkers. Those are the ones that it doesn't matter what the message is. It matters more who the message is coming from.
And
makes sense.
And what your personal values are attached to what that person portrays. Yeah.
Right. It kind of leads to another.
Well, that's the thing about Trump too, right? A lot of people don't like Trump because you can have a president doing really shitty things, but if he just doesn't have press conferences, his approval rating is going to be better than a president who's doing shitty things, but is also like constantly making you pay attention to the shitty things he's doing.
Even though Trump's is really high right now, but we are still in the first 100 days. I think we're halfway through
that.
Dude,
his
days already,
and NBC, CNN, and all this shit. His polls for his speech was like 70% approval, which is pretty fucking bonkers, to be honest with you.
Yeah, pretty much every news outlet was reporting something in the 70s for approval for Trump's speech. I guess I would vote approval, but only I guess I would vote that I approved of it, but I who am I kidding? I wouldn't have voted in that poll because
like I would have like if I was going to CNN or any or NBC or anything, but any sort of news that would have popped up and I'd been like, ugh, click exit out, and go back to the article I'm trying to read.
It's like the Joe Rogan thing of like, he hasn't said this in a long time, but he used to say it a long time ago, where he's like, yeah, that's like it was an 80% approval among people who take polls. And it's like, who the hell takes polls? Seriously, can any of our listeners, can you shoot us an email or a message or a direct message on X, whatever it is? Have you ever taken an actual political poll, like a real one?
Well, actually,
like Gallup or Trafalgar or any of those?
Actually, somehow my number through like donating and volunteering and doing all that different stuff, my number got tossed into one of those baskets, and I answered. So like before the election, I was probably getting 1 or 2 poll calls a week. But I like that shit. So I'm like,
sorry.
yeah, what's up?
I wish
Like,
I
don't worry,
could
you
do
got,
something,
I'll
but
tell
I
you.
can't.
Voting for Harris this year. You got a minute? Like, because I'm not. And then, you know, a Trump supporter. Trump wants to put America first. Do you want to vote for Trump? You got a minute? Because I'm going to tell you why I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, it's. And then I do, because they have to listen. And so I'm just practicing my little monologues I'm going to do on my show on them. And here's another thing.
It's like when the
Jessica.
is it like when the Jehovah's Witnesses show up?
Actually, no. So that is something that doesn't show up to my house.
I know, me neither.
Well,
I've been waiting for it.
You're like an 80-year-old man. You have a no solicitor sign on your door.
You know what? You want to know the honest to God reason why I have that sign?
It was on there when you moved in.
No, I put it there. But it's the fucking dogs, dude. It's the dogs. Every time somebody knocks on my door, I have to deal with fucking dogs going ape shit while some asshole's trying to sell me some like a secondary a power source company where it's like, dude, nope, go away. Please go away. And I'm not like, I'm just not the kind of person who wants to be rude to somebody and like kick them off my front porch. So it's just easier if they don't knock on the door.
You just need to get one of those signs that's like, in this house, we don't call the police, with like a 357 on it.
No, because I'm a smart gun owner and I
use some fucking don't tread on me signs as your blinds.
No, because I'm a
Real
smart
easy to
gun
make your
owner.
house approachable.
I'm a smart gun owner, and I don't want the feds to just be able to roll by and just know that there are guns in my house. I've never understood why people do that, why they fly flags of come and take it. It's like, why do you have that in front of your house? Like, way to let the feds know exactly where the guns are, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, you sleep at some point.
Yeah. You don't want the violence arm of the government to know where the guns are. So don't fly those stupid flags. Sorry, folks. That's just an opinion of mine. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way when it comes to gun ownership and flaunting it. Like, I understand if you have like a brand and you want to put like a Smith & Wesson sticker on your cooler or your water bottle or something, like that's fine. But it's when you're plastering it on the house and it's like, come on.
Even the truck is, to me, is a little bit, probably shouldn't do that either. You know what I mean? I don't think I want a cop right behind me knowing that there's a good chance. Well, then again, it could serve a decent purpose, because if you do get pulled over at that point, the cop
probably they know you have your CPL anyways, regardless of your sticker. If you have the sticker on your car and you don't have your CPL, it might cause to be like, you know what I mean?
Well, we're all fighting for a constitutional carry. You know what's really funny? I just out of curiosity, I was never going to do it just because my wife would have killed me. But I was looking at constitutional carry states for our road trip to Florida. Literally every state I drove through has constitutional carry, except for my home state, except for Michigan. That's the only state.
Constitutional carry now
does not have constitutional carry.
You can do open carry.
Yes.
But when you get in a car, it's considered concealed. So like you can't
consider concealed
on your hip. Yeah.
Correct. So you have to have it. You have to have the clips taken out. You have to have the ammo separated from the firearm, and you have to have the both locked in separate cases.
Glove boxes and trunks and all sorts of stuff.
It has to be in the trunk.
Right. Or I think a locked glove box also counts.
I don't know. Maybe Bell can find out for it. locked glove box is okay.
Yeah, but it still has to be in your gun case locked, or your ammo has to be in a locked container. But it can be in a locked glove box.
And how the fuck can you fit all that in a fucking glove box in today's cars anyway? They're not very big.
I can.
Well, what do you got? You got
Little guy, little gun.
50 going over there.
I mean, you're I mean, essentially, you have a carry gun, you know. So you shouldn't. I mean, unless you're carrying around a Draco AK-47 pistol.
You just carry something modest like a S&W M&P 9mm Ultra.
There you go.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
That's not what we planned on talking about tonight. We didn't plan on talking about the Second Amendment or firearms today. Do you have anything else from the? I mean, I'm sure you do, because all we talked about was how bloviating Trump was last night with regards to his culture war speech. Disappointing, honestly. I'll leave it at that when it comes to the culture war.
There was a big to do during the thing. Like, breaking news! In a cost children to be Secret Service members to use as human shields. Elon has one. Why can't I? Trump whined. DJ Daniel was hired as an honorary Secret Service member by Donald Trump during the actual State of the Union address. As child labor laws loosen, this administration is looking into hiring more children to teach work ethic and learn vital skills that will help them succeed in life. He survived cancer. He could survive taking a few shots for his favorite president, Trump went on.
If I see a black, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Jesus Christ, Charlie Kirk. It's actual audio from last night, I think, from Charlie. Yeah, that's. You know what I loved most about that was how the
Democrats were like, yeah, he can't even take a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's too short.
Or what? I wish I had pulled the video. I meant to do it and I didn't do it before the show. But Caitlin Collins goes on MSNBC last night and goes, "Well, I hope that he doesn't have to defend the Capitol against a bunch of crazy Trumpers." I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what she said, but it's like, my God, like the ability for anybody in this media to use absolutely anything, and then you have the Trump crowd going on X, going like, I can't believe those Democrats didn't stand up and clap for the black kid with cancer. I can't believe those Democrats didn't get up and clap for Lincoln Riley.
The blacks.
Yeah, but the whole point of that is like, do you remember last year's State of the Union when no Republicans stood up and clapped for anything Biden said? Like, this is just what
it's so funny how insignificant these
every time.
I don't mean to call the individuals themselves insignificant, but like the dog and pony show of parading them out there just to mention their names so they can clap. I don't even remember who Biden had out there, and I promise you, I'll bet $10 in my left nut 3 months from now, I won't remember DJ Daniels' name either.
We might not remember his name.
DJ Daniels. I'm going to remember it now because
and even if you don't remember his name, you'll remember the black cancer kid. You'll remember, like, that's a really fucking terrible way to put it, but that's exactly what
I'll remember his Secret Service veteran. The one that is going to be on the front lines if the Capitol's stormed again. Look out!
This is why it's so bizarre to me that the State of the Union every single year is like the only political event that ranks in like the top 100 most viewed things on TV. It's always boring. It's always, I mean, Trump makes it a little bit more fun just because he's Trump.
Was this even a State of the Union address? Or wasn't this just an address to Congress? I don't know if it was technically State of the Union. Biden did a State of the Union this year.
Sure. Sorry, I didn't mean State of the Union. And
well, you're not the only one I've heard say that. I've heard other people say that as well.
Address to, what do they call it? Address to Joint Chamber of Congress or whatever the hell it's called.
Right. So you mean to tell me he could just do that whenever, and everyone's just gonna have to show up because the president's speaking? Why don't presidents do that more?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would. I'd be on there every week. Make it a party.
But isn't that kind of normal though that a new president does a
I don't know,
an address to Congress in their first
Dan,
early on in their first year?
In the last 10 years, all precedent has gone out the window, so I don't fucking know.
It's called an address to Congress. This is what it actually was. Not technically the State of the Union address.
Could he just do those whenever?
I don't care. I don't care what the answer to that question is.
Hey, Bell, look that up for me.
Can the president just call an address to Congress whenever they want?
I know, like when he's in the Oval Office
in an
or
attempt
anything
to
like
gaslight
that,
us, and we will not stand for it.
He has a very massive holy pulpit. Like if he's like, I'm gonna speak, every single press outlet is gonna be there to try to hear what he has to say.
I gotta have Bell multitask here. Oh nope, he found it already.
Of course. So before they do the joint session of Congress each year, the president fulfills his or her constitutional duty to give the Congress information of the State of the Union.
Oh, it's a duty.
It's a duty.
That's why they called it a State of the Union. Bell, I want you to throw the Elon video up there. This is one of the funniest things that I noticed about last night. I'm pretty sure Elon Musk impregnated a young blonde woman last night by handing her a bottle of water, because didn't he just have kids 13 and 14 with 2 different baby mamas? That motherfucker's got some
that guy's
power sperm.
He's setting up franchises.
There it is. Bell's got it up there for us. Go ahead and roll it, Bell. You got to see this. Look at Elon is going to get a couple of bottles of water. Hold on, give it a second. See that pretty blonde lady next to him? Look at this. A couple of bottles of water. Thank you very much, sir. Turns to the blonde lady. Big smile. Oh yeah, sure. I'll take a bottle of water, Elon. Yeah, it sounds so good. Yeah, she just got pregnant, just right there.
Yeah, you know what he sees? Like, hey, you know, like I got a rocket.
Sure, Elon. I'll totally take a bottle of water. Yeah, it's so cool. I can't wait to tell all my girlfriends about this. Is that our first date?
A meet cute. That's what that was.
It was adorable. Good for Elon. What was he? What was?
I don't like the guy. The guy fucks.
Oh, how about what's the hell is that representative's name? Sydney Comlager? I don't know. Comlager, whatever her name is. Pull that video up real quick, Bell. Of did you see this Freudian slip?
I don't know if I did.
Right around Trump's speech. This one is so good. You're gonna love this, because she absolutely maybe sort of said the quiet part out loud. Oops, sorry, Bell. I didn't mean to take that off. Go ahead and roll it for us, Bell. You're gonna love this. If you haven't seen this,
you don't care about this country, and that is unacceptable if you claim to be the president of the United States. So we are here. We are not going anywhere. We are going to continue to fight back, and we are going to continue to speak lies to his truth, to his stealing, and to his cheating. Thank you.
Oh, we're going to continue to speak lies to his truth. Do you think she said that on purpose, or do you think that was a little bit of a Freudian slip?
Yeah, Dan, I definitely think she meant to say that on purpose. 100%.
Oh man, that was. I just thought it was funny.
That is pretty funny. Like,
because there's a lot of tinfoil hattery.
That's a sound effect we need.
There's a lot of tinfoil hattery regarding that. I'm sure Benny Johnson truly believes that's what she meant to say. But either way, it's a Freudian slip. Yep. That's exactly where we are. It's exactly where we are. Anything else from the State of the Union, Corey, that I completely missed because I had a sick dog.
Oh, dude, he's talking about making car payments, like car loan payments, tax deductible, which I gotta say, I'm pretty much on board for that one.
Yeah, I don't know enough about how that would affect the economy. So I'm not gonna like register an opinion on that, but sounds good.
Well, as someone who's in the process of getting ready to car shop, like fuck yeah.
Ooh, speaking of car shopping, this isn't car shopping, this is house shopping, but I know you've been waiting for the moment where the housing market crashes.
Dude, delinquencies are at highest they were since the recession.
Apparently that's coming. You want to know what's really fucked up about that? Maybe I don't know if this makes me a
the empath that goes, oh man. But I
don't know if this makes me an elitist because Corey's sitting there just like waiting to try to buy his first house, and I'm talking to my wife last night, and I'm like, if this housing market crashes, might be time to buy a second house. I don't know where. We're talking about, do we buy it around here and move into it if it's nicer and rent this one out, or do we like try to buy a house like in Arizona? We talked about Florida, but then it's like you can't get it insured.
Yeah,
because you can get it insured if it's far enough inland. Like if you're over like
this is what you do. You get somewhere like Hazel Park where it's like on the verge, but Oakland County won't let it like tip over. So like you get a cheaper house, and then we have a mortgage payment of like $600 to $800 a month, and if it dips down to like $100K, $75K for the house, and then you lease it out for $12K or $1,200 a month.
I don't know, man. I kind of want a vacation home in a nice place, nice warm place. Every time we go to Florida, we're like,
well, I got these timeshares to offer.
Every time we go to Florida, we're like, we should move here, and then we're like, oh, never mind. The fucking heat in July, August, and September is a nightmare.
Yeah,
you might get smoked by a hurricane. But if I can get a house insured in like a little bit more inland, yeah, I'll take. But then it's like if you live inland, it's like then what's the fun of being in Florida? It's like it's kind of a catch-22.
There was a place where I thought it'd be really cool to move to, but it doesn't exist anymore. That's Asheville, North Carolina.
It still exists. Actually, funny story. I played golf in Florida the one day I was able to play prior to my severe illness that did not allow me to do the show last week. He was actually from Asheville, North Carolina. I played with a guy from Asheville, North Carolina. He's like, yeah, it flooded. He's like, yeah, it flooded pretty bad. That's pretty much all he said.
He's like, that's why I'm not there.
No, I guess his house was fine because he was a little bit higher up
on the ridge. Yeah. No, Asheville was a cool fucking city. It really is a bummer that that shit got hit. Yeah, like Asheville, and then different places in Cali that also lit up on fire recently that I always thought would be a really cool place to live.
Until it lights on fire and you have to pay 50% in state taxes. That sounds like a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so good. You got anything else from the State of the Union, Corey? Because you actually watched it.
I was falling asleep to it because it was so riveting.
I probably saw the part you didn't see.
Yeah, I listened to it today though. But basically him just talking about his ideas with his taxes, with the tariffs that are coming up, talking about doing reciprocal tariffs to any country that has a tariff against us, just matching the typical bluster and stuff. I'm still convinced that the tariffs are just marketing chips because we're watching.
Yeah, because he said there's
country does something he likes, and
he said he said that his plan is to put them in place April 2nd, right? And he said it had to be April 2nd because he didn't want anybody to think it was an April Fool's joke on April 1st.
Yeah, he's like, I'm very superstitious.
I don't know, because like the stock market took a shit yesterday over just what Trump was saying, or what was suspected of coming out in the speech later that evening. I am in the food business, dude. I got calls all fucking day today from my customers as a sales rep where they're like, hey, you know anything about prices going up because of these tariffs? I'm like, dude, I am a lowly sales rep for a food company. I don't know shit. I probably had 4 of those phone calls today. Like, no, I don't know shit. Just buy what you want to buy. You want to buy more right now, just in case? Because I'm a commission sales rep. I'll sell you whatever you want.
Yeah. That's what you should be. But like, I don't know. It's iffy. You should maybe buy a bunch extra now.
No, I can't lie to people because then I'm not trustworthy. I'm not reliable. And I've had that happen to me a couple of times. Learned my lesson. Yeah, State of the Union sucks.
Yeah, I just pictured Dan. Yeah, the crazy thing, they're killing all the chickens next week. So you need to buy as much chicken as you can now.
Dude, they might be. So it's so funny because you'll have people that are like, oh, I think this fucking bird flu is absolutely a hoax. Because that's a huge reason. For those who don't know, Michigan just became the 5th state at the beginning of the year to make it so that shell eggs can only be sold cage-free.
Oh, such a scam.
It's an unbelievable scam. However, it
sounds nice.
It is, well, yeah, because cage-free just means they can't be in a cage. They can still, the chickens can still not be well taken care of.
Dan, what happened was those cages before?
I don't know.
In a warehouse.
Barn, yeah. In a warehouse barn.
Guess what? All the chickens are still in a warehouse. There's just no cage.
Right as soon as that law went into effect, we got a bunch more bird flus, and people. I have a lot of people that go, oh, I think it's just a hoax. I don't even think the bird flu is real. It's like, no, the bird flu is real, right? Like these birds get tested. The problem is the policy, and this doesn't just apply to Michigan because this can apply to commodity eggs, even in other states that are still allowed to sell eggs with caged hens. The problem is the policy behind what happens when the bird flu hits a flock. Because what happens when these bird flus hit the flock is if one bird in that flock tests positive for that bird flu, they kill that entire flock. They have to kill that entire flock of chickens because one of them has bird flu. Now, listen, if one of those birds has bird flu, odds are the rest of them are going to catch that bird flu, just like a human flu, right? Like if you're around people that all have the flu.
For a bird when it has the bird flu,
that's the whole point. If you eat an egg from a hen that had bird flu, like what's the danger in that? Like what's the science behind the danger in you eating an egg from a chicken that had bird flu? There's no science behind it whatsoever, as far as I can tell. It's nonsense. You don't need to fucking kill all those chickens. That's the issue. The issue isn't the bird flu. Like the bird flu does exist, and it is going around to all of these flocks. There's no question about that. It's the policy that it's the bullshit protectionist policy that comes with what happens when these chickens get bird flu. That's the issue. As always, Corey, what's the problem? Government.
Right. So obviously there's 2 types of chickens. There's the egg-laying chickens, and then we have the chickens that we eat. And I'm assuming that the regulations are the same for the chickens that we eat.
I don't know the answer to that question. I should, but I don't.
Well, right. Like you figure if you cook an egg, I guess if you accidentally like undercook it, some people like their fried eggs like, runny or whatever. I suppose the virus could still be in it.
I seriously doubt it.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. We need RFK in here to tell us this.
Because the flu is a respiratory disease. Like you get it through the air, not through eating a dead chicken that had bird flu.
Right. Well, that's the regular flu, Dan, but the bird flu, like you'd assume it can fly.
Well, and even so, the concern is like that
the smartest podcast.
The virus, right? Exactly. The concern is that the virus can spread to humans, and it's like this is the whole thing we went through with COVID, where at first we were meant to believe that it came from somebody eating a dirty bat.
Yeah, in a weird racist trope.
And we all know that that's bullshit.
Can we say that now that was kind of racist, that we just assumed Asian people were eating weird animals and that's what got everyone sick.
The funniest part about that was remember when COVID was raging and all the lockdowns were going, and then you saw a bunch of hashtags on social media that was like "Stop Asian Hate" because there was like some epidemic of Asians getting beat up on the street, which wasn't actually happening.
Stop eating bats. They're eating our pets. They're eating cats. They're eating our dogs.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Ooh, look at that. It says TikTok.
I didn't mean to talk about eggs on this show tonight either, Corey. We're getting back into the groove because we missed a week and we're having some fun. Bright and I's happy to have you with us. I guess, can I move on from the State of the Union?
Sure.
Do you have anything you want to close? Did you see that Mitch McConnell is not seeking re-election?
About time.
He made his money.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was just about to play that out. I got footage of him going to the podium to saying he's not seeking resurrection.
Fucking white people.
Yeah, that's all I had to say. Is that Mitch McConnell's not seeking re-election. We're all happy to hear that. Are we going to miss him? I mean, there's a weird part of me that's going to miss him falling down the stairs because that's just comedy for the show that we're going to miss till the end of our days.
Some more breaking news.
Oh, shit.
After further reflection, Kanye decided that he is not a Nazi.
So did he take the swastika shirt off?
No, he said. What the fuck did he say? Oh my god, I forgot it because I wrote that headline down. Like,
it's literally what he said. After much deliberation, I have decided that I am not a Nazi.
Just trying to use big words. Good for him. I'm so happy for Kanye. I'm happy that he finally got to a place in his life where he can come out and firmly say that he is in fact not a Nazi.
What a Dunning Cougar fucking graph type white supremacist. Fucking no longer white supremacist. Maybe he talked to Daryl Davis.
How did you? Well, maybe he did. Did he give Daryl his hood?
Probably. Maybe
he gave him his Nazi shirt. He gave him his swastika shirt right off his back.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Tell me. You know, it's funny because I got a buddy. I'm not going to name names because I don't need him getting doxxed because he's a really good friend of mine. But he's always been a huge Kanye fan, right? And by the way, it's not Camille Foster. It's another really good buddy of mine. Always been a huge Kanye fan, and he did the thing last week where like I played him the Twitter video of him wearing the one that went viral of him wearing the Nazi shirt and him talk. I don't even remember what the hell he said because it didn't matter. But I'm like, bro, still. He goes, yeah, mental illness is real rough. I'm like, you're still putting this on mental illness? Like, really? Like, you're still saying, like, I think the mental illness thing, it went out the window, right? Like, I think somebody that is the most, I mean, Elon Musk is pretty autistic, right? I know he did the whole fucking,
whoa! Stop doing it.
Hold on, I'm not done. I have to finish my gesture so it doesn't look like a Nazi gesture.
You're just pretending to be an FAA director. You're the one that made the helicopter and the plane crash. Good job. That wasn't any better.
Yes.
I'm
like, really, dude? You're still saying mental illness?
For those just listening, as am I, because I can't see, Dan was just impersonating a
yes, it was not
a flight guy who was like directing planes on a landing strip.
Yeah.
And no way did he do the what are they called? The Roman salute.
The Roman salute.
You're fired. Get out of here.
It's fun to make fun of everyone.
Fucking white people.
Fucking white people. I tell you what.
You see Michael Schellenberger's latest report. Actually, it probably isn't even the latest. This is from a few days ago, and Schellenberger's all over shit. An FBI whistleblower at GOB Actual confirmed to me, meaning Michael Schellenberger, at GOB Actual, confirmed to me that a source inside FBI says FBI employees were destroying evidence for years, and that he has informed Kash Patel. I hope he and at AG Pam Bondi, John Radcliffe, Elon Musk, Real Anapolina are preventing this. We urgently need disclosure. So it's apparently
evidence.
According to Schellenberger, like there's just people at the FBI just burning shit. It's just burning shit before Kash Patel has a chance to get to it. But what I find interesting about that,
well, they said for years,
right? And yeah, and they don't, yeah, and they don't want anybody. They're doing it to such a degree, according to Schellenberger in the piece, that they're doing it to such a degree that even like the best intelligence people that can like recover shit have absolutely no opportunity.
So they're pissed
to do so. What I find interesting about that is
that's what I would do anyway.
Last week, was it last week? I don't know. The days are all running together between the comedy of errors that we've had on the show over the last week or so. When the Epstein files were supposed to come out, you remember, you know all the people online holding up the sheet, holding up the paper,
stupid
paper of the Epstein files. Turns out there ain't shit in there.
There ain't shit in it, and the way they're parading it out, and the way that everyone is now like caricaturizing the whole like Epstein files, like guys, like get a grip. Remember, a bunch of minors were raped and groomed. We're over here like, oh, the Epstein files, and it's like, no, fuck your fanfare. Two layers into that, like we're talking about like some serious shit that we're all like saying we care about, but even that shit is tainted by political ideologies, because anyone on the left doesn't give a fuck who was on that list except for Trump, and then everyone on the right doesn't gives a fuck about everyone on that list except for
Trump. Yeah,
and you really think that if Trump is as embedded in that as like the original files that came out and were leaked about like the blacklist and the flight logs and all these people and all that shit, and how often and all the pictures that Trump was hanging out with him, you really think that his administration is gonna release a completely unredacted file? And the fact that they didn't, you don't think that he has some sort of skeletons in his closet?
That's sort of what I was going to get into. You kind of led me right into it, because you have Pam Bondi, who was totally cool with throwing this out there. There's nothing in it.
But Dan, it's only phase one.
I go, all right, hold on. Tinfoil hat. Let's put the tinfoil hats on for just a moment.
Oh, shit, buddy. I got to dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Sylvia. You got to be kidding me. I got boxes full of Pepe.
That's right. Put the tinfoil hat on for just a minute. Did somebody sit Pam Bondi down and go, yeah, you can't release this stuff? Did somebody from that deep state go,
okay, so I was going to mention something similar to that, but I don't think it was Pam Bondi. I don't think it even made it that far. I think it was Kash Patel.
Either way,
the Tom Hatherford sounding guy. Every time I hear his voice, I just think of Tom Hatherford from Parks and Rec. They sound
because the thing comes out, it's completely redacted. There's nothing in it. And Dave Smith had a hilarious but also dark tweet where he goes, maybe handing the files over to a bunch of Mossad agents was the wrong play. Because here's the tinfoil hat theory. And honestly, call me whatever the hell you want. I think it's pretty reasonable as far as tinfoil hat theories go, that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. And why do I say that? I say that because I find it really fucking interesting that anybody who's been connected with Jeffrey Epstein, not everybody, but anybody in power, whether it be in Europe or here or throughout the globe, that's connected with Jeffrey Epstein, real buddy with Israel. Take it a step further. Let's talk about how the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was a documented Mossad agent. Jeffrey Epstein's whole thing, according to this tinfoil hat theory, was that he worked for Israel to compromise world leaders. It's not a ridiculous theory. Obviously, correlation doesn't equal causation, but it really is interesting when you look at everybody who loves and stands behind Netanyahu and stands behind Mossad and stands behind the genocide that Israel is committing in Gaza and maybe the West Bank soon. We'll see. All of them seem to be somehow connected to the Epstein files. And yeah, sorry, MAGA folks. I know this hurts your feelings, but it includes Donald Trump.
I said this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein is a Mossad agent. That was my thing. Everybody's like, yeah, that's nuts, dude. Look at us now.
So to Bell's credit, I remember damn near 6 years ago being on his front porch and us, being pretty inebriated and him just, you ever just look up Mossad? He's like, there's so much dark money that just goes to Mossad. And I was like, wow, you fucking anti-Semite. No, I didn't actually say that, but he would talk about Mossad and then like how they're like heavily funded by like our government, but no one talks about it. And they're just, it's this weird shit, man.
So did somebody go to Pam Bondi and be like,
we still have our tinfoil hats on, obviously, while we're saying all this.
Did somebody go to Pam Bondi and go, actually, your guy, we can't really release this, at least not the way you want to, which I think we talked about this a couple of months ago. I feel like, or not a couple of months ago, but before, like right after the election or something like that. I think we all were in agreement that still, even with Trump in office, nothing was going to come of the Epstein files. And 100%. I don't think, honest to God, I think the same is true with the JFK files. I don't think we're going to get anything out of this.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nothing's going to come of this.
Even our JFK correspondent, Robbie, said anything of value that's not already out is scrubbed, burned.
That reminds me. Another reason we got to have Robbie on, I have got to ask him about this thing that fucking JFK was running around homoing out with Len Billings. You see this story that came out?
Mm-mm.
Oh, apparently JFK was just having just unbelievably raucous homo sex with Len Billings.
He didn't give a shit about what the hole looked like.
I swear to God, JFK he could not function without releasing a load on someone or in someone or in some
pressure, bro. He's the president of the United States.
He had to release. Yeah, he had to.
This is what happens when you get someone under 75.
I can't run this country until I've released a load on a strange piece of ass. That, I swear to God, that's what he woke up every day and said. My back hurts, and I have to release a load. Otherwise, I can't do my job as president of the United States of America. What's better, my Clinton or my JFK?
Definitely. Well, definitely your Clinton. You have that one pretty spot on. Yeah, that one's really good. I'm working
JFK
on my JFK. Isn't terrible, but
you can tell who it is.
Just thinking about like how many of the presidents do you think as soon as they got into the White House they broke it in?
Oh, you mean just like throwing wads all over like the Lincoln bedroom, or like what are you talking about?
Just It's they, like they move in them and the wife. Like I'm not even talking about infidelity. Just even them and their wife. Like we did it, honey. We're in the White House.
It's
now
a fair
bend
question.
over.
What do you think? What do you think Billary did?
Probably
Is
called
that-
him
is that-
Monica and
That's where it all came from.
What about all these presidents that never had wives? How wild do you
Hey.
think that shit was?
Yeah, they were probably in there by themselves.
Do
They didn't have
not take
Tinder
a
back
black light.
then.
Do not take a black light into the Lincoln bedroom. You will not. You would do not know what you're going to see.
Do you think they're like color coded by decade? Yeah, that's weird,
tell.
right? You're
I
like
mean-
you're in there, like especially if you like believed in like psychic or like premonitions and shit, and you're in there and you're dropping trowel and plowing your old lady, and like you're thinking
yeah.
you see Abraham Lincoln doing the same thing, and he just tips his hat. I picture
well,
Lincoln
that's-
wearing his hat during sex.
Well, that's another president that there's lots of rumors that he's gay. That he was gay. I mean, Mary Todd did look an awful lot like an awful lot like a dude.
Everyone looked like a dude. It's the 1800s, bro.
Have you?
Abe Lincoln
seen-
spent a lot. He spent a lot of nights with men in the same bed.
Oh,
Many nights.
Oh,
That's well documented.
he loved it.
What did you do?
You just go in. Somebody just goes in and does DNA tests all over the White House. It's like, man, fucking why? Wait, he couldn't fit in the bathtub. Why is William Howard Taft's semen all over the shower curtain? I don't understand how this happened.
He was
They
just
should,
they
make a spectacle out of it. Do a tour of all the presidential loads.
Yeah,
This
you
one
go.
here.
Could you imagine like when just like fucking dresser
one-
wasn't moved for like 80
This one was
years,
shot.
and this
This
Andrew
one was shot out.
Andrew Jackson's used condoms and used gum is just behind the fucking dresser, and it's like, oh, what the fuck?
Nobody ever cleaned it. Just nobody ever cleaned
Right.
it. It's like a fucking brothel in there.
They're
Nobody
rolling
ever
it
cleaned
back, and they're like, we know it was Andrew Jackson by the serial number on the condom.
Well, you see, this stain was on.
Barcodes, right?
Oh, we lost Corey there for a second.
You know that all the condoms have barcodes on them, right?
You can go in there and hang your hat on one.
Yeah.
On one of the
Well, I mean,
loads.
I mean, you guys have never had to roll your condom
So Abe did.
We never had to roll our condom. What?
back that far to see the barcode?
No, Corey, and neither of you.
No, I use minis, so.
Okay.
I use the extra small.
My condom says look. My condom says look, and then when I roll it all the way down, it says look out, Mountain, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
God damn it. God damn it, my headphones are dying. I hope they last the rest of the show. Yeah, you roll around with a tour guide. This load was shot by William Henry Harrison on April 7th.
Everyone with black light.
This one was shot by JFK. He missed his chief of staff.
No, but the thing is, JFK loads around the White House are like fucking Pete Rose autographs. Everybody's seen them. They're everywhere. Everybody's had one.
Probably got one on your shoe.
What do you think about this? This isn't really politics related. I'm just curious. What do you guys think about this Gene Hackman death?
That is kind of weird. All I saw was the
Fucking
headline,
wild,
to be
right?
honest. All I saw was the headline where it was like him, his wife, and his dog.
Yeah,
Well,
they were like, and she was like partially decomposed, and they're like, there could be foul play. I'm like, who the fuck wants to kill a 95-year-old man? He's gonna die tomorrow
Tell you what,
anyway.
anyone who hates fucking America, god damn it.
That's right. Gene
Dude, they
Hackman.
found him with
Hoosiers.
there was like a space heater on in the house and stuff. Like, as a body snatcher.
Ooh, that's right. This is Bell's area of expertise.
Yeah.
Go ahead and speak. I gotta switch headphones because my shit is dying. So go ahead.
This dude died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
That's what I thought immediately. When everyone in the house.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like
Yeah, so there's two that there's two other dogs. They had 3 dogs. One of the dogs died. I mean, obviously you'd have to know where each dog was when all of this happened to know exactly what happened. But yeah, it's carbon monoxide poisoning. They live in like Texas or like somewhere down south, and they don't have furnaces. You know, it's winter. Obviously, they just run space heaters. But yeah, they found a space heater on in the house right by where they were.
Like coiled heater. It was an actual space heater.
Yeah, I guess they didn't. I mean, they didn't say that. They said there was a heater, but yeah, I've seen enough of that to know that
one of the dogs that survived was just laying in a cold air return.
Maybe like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
which is
PSA. Everyone, right now, pause this podcast. Check your CO2. Your well, not CO2. It's what CO detectors and your smoke detectors. Check all of them.
See, they found,
especially if you're playing games or doing anything online where your microphone is on, because that beep, everybody fucking hears it.
Yep. New Mexico Gas Company. What is this? Yeah, New Mexico Gas Company did issue 5 red tags on the house. One red tag was for a minuscule leak of 30.33% gas in the air, which is not a lethal amount, at one of the stove burners. The other 4 red tags were code enforcement violations not involving gas leaks or carbon monoxide, involving a water heater and gas log lighters installed in 3 fireplaces. While the gas leak appears to have been ruled out, 3 more causes of death were positive by James Gill, chief medical examiner. He believes both died from natural causes. Like, bro.
One died and the other one just died of a broken heart.
Yeah, I doubt that.
It sounds like carbon monoxide to me.
There's no other way.
But the state didn't catch it, so they try to cover their ass.
And yeah, but honestly, it wouldn't even be on them.
Death on our hands.
It wouldn't even be on them. It'd be on Gene Hackman.
But if they missed the inspection, I'm saying.
I mean, it could have happened. It could have been like something that happened the day before and started leaking carbon dioxide into their house. It's still not on them.
All right.
Maybe it was the Rapture, and those are the only 2 that.
Oh shit! And the dog.
and
2 bad dogs.
The other 2 dogs were assholes.
Bad dogs.
Yeah, those were bad dogs. The good boy made it.
Donald Trump is a bad guy.
That's not. I didn't mean to play that. That was my mistake. All right, I got a fresh set of headphones. I'm back. You want to talk about story?
What?
You talk about Zelensky and Trump?
Yeah. So I don't know if any of you guys saw the Zelensky Trump Vance interaction. Did you?
You want to just have Bell play it? It's like a 7-minute video. I sent that over to you, right, Bell? He's got it. He'll throw it out there. It was so funny to me because like I have to give credit where credit is due, because Dave Smith put it this way and I thought it was fucking brilliant. Because I was thinking something similar, but I don't know how to word things as well as Dave Smith does. Where it's like Zelensky and Vance are going back and forth, and Trump's just sitting there, just real quiet, and then finally like picks his spot like a dad coming into the middle of an argument between his wife and his kid. Because JD Vance is totally mom in this situation. Go ahead and roll it, Bill.
This thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that. But I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes.
I'd be so tough.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, For 4
Here's
years,
JD.
the United
Here comes
States
mom.
president,
He
we
thinks
had
he's in a
president who
debate.
stood
I want to
up at
respond
press
to this.
conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words matter.
When did Joe
more
Biden
than
thump
the
his
president
chest?
of the United States' actions.
Break a
What makes
rib.
America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Nope,
So
sure.
He occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, parts of East.
Oh, he occupies your parts? Sounds like you
Crimea.
need an adult.
So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broke the ceasefire.
Trump looks
He
so
killed
bored.
our people, and he didn't
Is this over
exchange
yet?
prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it.
Boring.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
You should be thanking my husband.
Say what problems we have.
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President.
Trump,
Do
Dad,
you
just
disagree
sitting
that
there
you've had
waiting.
problems bringing people into your military?
We have
And
problems.
do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice oceans.
Trouble. He's
and
like,
don't
but
feel
well,
now,
wait,
but you
hold
will
on.
feel it in the future.
You
God
don't-
bless.
you don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You will
Don't-
not
you
have
gotta-
war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
See
exactly
that?
what
Vance
you're
got him all
You're
fired
in no
up.
position to
Yep.
dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning.
Trump's
of
like,
the
Dad,
war.
like,
Not
this
in
is
a
how
good
this is going to
position.
go, son.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
Not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about
gambling with
Scolding
World
him.
War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
Very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even-
entire
Here
meeting,
comes
you
Mom
said
again.
thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
What
of
you're
America
speaking about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can.
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking
Oh.
loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
Your
minute.
mother
No,
did not
you're
raise
not
your
allowed to
voice
talk.
to you.
Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this.
I know.
You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks.
You've been
haven't
alone.
been
That's such
bullshit.
bullshit.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have our military equipment,
Did you see how he touched him? You pushed him a little bit there? That was ooh.
This war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing
Maybe
to do
less.
business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times.
Yes, he said thank you a lot.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements.
Not to
rather than
Trump,
trying to
but
fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, you could get a ceasefire right now. I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was with
wasn't
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
that was
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with
My
Obama. who gave
67
you
Corvette.
sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave
I really thought he was
sheets
going to
and
say
Trump
Obama
gave
gave you
javelins.
shit.
You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia?
Bell, you can, yeah, okay. I was gonna say that was at the end of it. I was gonna say you could go ahead and stop that, dude. That was mom and dad scolding their teenage son for not listening to them. That was what that was, and honestly, for better or worse, it was entertaining as hell. I don't care what anybody says, it was entertaining as hell. I will say this: as much as I want American tax dollars to stop going to this war, in certain ways, I feel for Zelensky a little bit, only because of where he's gotten the pushback from both sides, essentially, since he took office. And we can talk about whether or not he should have been there in the first place with the Maidan Revolution and whatnot, but it's very, very clear to me that Zelensky's getting pressure, has gotten pressure this entire time from both the West, because the West loves war, particularly the United States, because a lot of our defense contractors get paid when there's war, but also from the eastern side of Ukraine, where you have what, Corey? You have a lot of fascists. You have Nazis.
Oh, not even
that are
Nazis
well.
or
Wait.
fascists, but just more Eastern European, more like people who are more sympathetic towards.
No.
Russian
I'm
style.
I'm speaking specifically about the
Battalion.
I'm speaking specifically about the Azov Battalion, because when Zelensky was first, when Zelensky first came to power, he tried to make peace. He tried, because he was quote unquote elected on being the peace candidate. And what happened? The fascists and the fascists and the Azov Battalion basically looked Zelensky in the face and fucking laughed at him. So, like, on the one hand, I get where Trump and the West are coming from, but on the other hand, I do think that Zelensky is between a rock and a hard place on this one.
Yeah,
because
no,
he's got a lot of pressure. He's got a lot of pressure not to make peace.
You know, like I feel really, really bad for the people in Ukraine. And I even feel a little bad for Zelensky, because this country, this government is just, unfortunately, a proxy that's a part of a larger game of chess that's done by the East and the West, that's been done for the last fucking 70 years, since World War II, when the Iron Curtain went up between the communists and the capitalists, when it became America and Russia, you know, the Soviet Union and the Western democracy. And in 2014, through America's pushing, there was that coup in Ukraine, the Maidan coup, that pushed in a more Western friendly, I think his name was what was his name? Zhokev, or I forget the guy's name, but Jessica Newland is like from America, is caught on a hot mic.
Victoria Newland.
Yeah, was caught on a hot mic saying, "That's our guy, Zhokev, I think," or something like that. You know, and then that guy wasn't president anymore, but then they got Zelensky, and Zelensky was their president. But he, unfortunately, was a part of this giant machine that was moving, because when the Maidan coup happened in 2014, that's when Russia moved in and took Crimea, because there was a contract for the Crimean port with a more Eastern-friendly presidency in Ukraine. And when that happened, Putin saw the jig, he saw the dance that was being fucking done on the floor, and was like, oh yeah, these guys are trying something. So he was like, securing his shit. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying what America did was right either. It's both wrong. They're people.
Poroshenko was the name you were looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. And right. But we're talking about just a sovereign country just trying to survive and make best for their people, just like we do in our country, just like they do in Russia. But because it's a smaller boy on the block, the two big boys were doing tug of war on their land, right? And here we are from 2014 to now. And we're seeing the same gameplay on the American side that we saw with Gaddafi. We saw it with Osama bin Laden. We saw it with Saddam Hussein. It's just the Middle East. We can get I'm sorry that I don't know
Bashar al-Assad.
I'm sorry that I don't know all the names of all the presidents in South America that America did the same shit with, right? And now we're at the point, again, I always tell the listeners to read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, because we're watching it unfold in front of our eyes. Now what is the condition now for Ukraine to continue to get aid from America while they try to find a peace deal? What's the condition?
Those minerals, according to Lindsey Graham. I just want those minerals.
Yeah. It's either minerals, like special metals and minerals, a military base, a US embassy, or a UN vote is what every single small country is extorted for after we get out of them what we wanted. And that's what we're seeing outplay now. And now I appreciate that Trump did this. Well, I don't think this was his intention, but he is putting on display just how gross the American diplomacy status quo is.
I think it was absolutely
putting it on display. It's disgusting and it's gross, but it's not unique. Trump's dumbass made it seem unique and special to him, and that's why the establishment doesn't like him. But he put it out there for everyone to see. This is America's standard operating procedure. This isn't something special to Ukraine.
It's the whole, well, he was right, but he was right for the wrong reasons.
Who was Trump?
Right.
You could argue that Trump is the one that kicked it all off, because Obama had a little bit of a better fucking policy when it came to it, that he was just giving Ukraine like defensive weapons and defensive.
Well,
things because we didn't want it to kick off. Trump's the one that gave the javelins.
But the Maidan coup happened under Obama.
But he recognized that he got his hand caught in a cookie jar and was willing to give it up, because that's what it is. all of these countries that aren't any part of like the G7 or the big fucking powerhouses, bullies on the block, look at every other country as a chess piece to extort for their resources, for their military, for their land. And we are seeing it out blatantly in front of us, but America is so fucking divided that they see it as a Trump unique thing, that if we were actually able to come united and going, oh wow, this isn't a Trump thing, this is an American government thing, we could all come together and be like, we shouldn't be doing this. And then the byproduct of that, now that's obviously us being on our shores, not being in Ukraine, like self-serving interests, like arguably, right? Yeah, that's fair. But the byproduct would be these small countries quick getting fucked with.
Well, and that's something that just isn't going to happen. Another great point made by one of my libertarian heroes, Dave Smith.
It's so gross. That guy, English is his second or third language, and he's out there and he's actually carrying a conversation with them, and them two are just bullying him.
Well, I think you could also make the argument that Zelensky was being a fucking asshole. I mean, you don't
Sure.
see, the fact that I know he was saying Mr. President at that, like in that clip, but there was points in that entire exchange where he's in there calling Donald Trump Donald, and he's calling JD Vance JD, not Mr. President, not Mr. Vice President. It's not, I don't know. What I would say is that Trump was right from the perspective of like, I don't really give a shit how this ends. I just kind of want it to end. So I'm with Trump there. And yeah, if that means Crimea is like, the way it's portrayed from the American limousine liberals,
so
is we're saving. Hold on, we're saving.
I'm gonna get to you in a second, KI1.
We're saving a democratic nation, right? Like that's the way it's portrayed. But it's portrayed in a way that's ridiculous because Putin's interests are keeping NATO further away from Russia, which you can understand if you looked at it from a 30,000 point view of imagine if Russia were trying to bring Mexico into some sort of military alliance, right? Like that's the part that you don't ever hear from the limousine liberals in the United States, because that's not really what's important. Because they're essentially neocons. Let's keep war going so that we can continue to get our defense contractors paid that pay our campaign expenses. That's essentially what the limousine liberal left is right now. They're neocons. They're neoconservatives.
So KI1, I think that's what his name is on Twitch. He says he originally said greetings from Ukraine about 10 minutes ago. But then he just asked, why do you all compare Ukraine with Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other terrorists? Unlike them, Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons in exchange for guarantees. And now for some reason, everyone says that it's your problem that you gave up nuclear weapons, but be kind enough to pay for the help. The USA was one of the countries that encouraged Ukraine to do this. But when Russia occupied Crimea, there was no reaction. Why did Putin go further? Because no one showed him the consequences of. And so like, I understand that perspective. The reason why we usually compare Ukraine to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and all these other countries is because as Americans on this side, it's frustrating to see America bully smaller countries into doing things. So you're from Ukraine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys in 2014 had the Maidan coup. And on our side of the water that we're on, we often see documents and articles pop out. Like, obviously, we don't have them in front of us at this very moment because we didn't expect the conversation to go in this direction. But we, through USAID and NGOs, we often fund in the CIA we fund coups to happen in countries that they're not, but they portray it to look organic. And there's documents that show that we helped influence heavily a coup in Ukraine that went from the previous administration that was more right leaning. And not when I say right, like I guess more Eastern leaning, more Russian friendly. And then we put in we helped institute a president that was more Western friendly. And in doing so, Putin responded and took over Crimea because he had that 100-year contract with Ukraine to have access to that port. He was afraid he was going to lose that because of this coup that happened there. And he knew it was backed by America. And that's what I'm kind of getting at is when America, Russia, you could throw in China, the UK, all of these big powerhouse blocks in the world, they like to use smaller countries who are in between a rock and a hard place and kind of extort them. And it seems as though, based on the information that we have in America, that's what was unfortunately happening with Ukraine because America has a really, really shitty foreign policy. And when that happened, and then Russia took over Crimea, based on the way I see it, and it might just be me, but I feel like there's a lot of other people that see it this way, Obama realized he got caught in doing that exact geopolitical bullshit that we're talking about. And that's why he backed off and let Russia take Crimea to avoid what we're seeing today. Now, Trump came in, gave Ukraine more offensive weapons, did different things like this, made it to where Ukraine, to your benefit, like obviously that's what you guys would want. You want Russia out of your backyard. Gave you more offensive weapons to fight Russia. And Russia got pissed. Attacked back. And now the reason why, again, we brought up, Afghanistan, because another person who gave up his nuclear weapons was Gaddafi in Libya. We made the same guarantees with Libya about nuclear weapons. America did.
Well, he never had nuclear weapons.
No, I think Libya did.
It was the I could be talking out of my ass here, but it was the idea of moving toward it's the same deal with Iran.
The denuclearization, right? Yeah, Iran, right? And that's why you see North Korea and other countries not giving up their nuclear weapons, because if they do, they get Gaddafi'd. And
that's the whole point of like
saying this. I don't take I don't take joy in saying it, but I feel like Ukraine is just another proxy.
It's totally a proxy
that is being used as a tool by America and Russia. And I don't think either side has Ukraine's best interests at heart. Both sides just have their interests at heart.
And what happens if the Minsk Accords are actually gone through with? What happens if we back off after net means net? What happens if the West actually does what it promises after the fall of the Soviet Union, which is that we are not going to move an inch further east of Germany? Are we still in this place? If we are still in this place and Putin does still invade Ukraine, now we actually have a leg to stand on. But as Scott Horton's book Provoked says, when you continue to encroach further and further on a global power's region of influence,
there's eventually going to be a response.
There is going to be a response. This does not mean that Putin was right in what he did. My issue with the West has always been, stop pretending like you had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
That shit drives me fucking insane.
You keep poking someone in the chest with a stick and they deck you. What did you expect? You know what I mean? And again, it's like, I feel terrible for the people in Ukraine. I feel really bad. Like your whole country is fucking demolished. And it's just
not the whole country, but
yeah, enough. Like if I live there,
don't be hyperbolic about it.
I mean, like if I lived there, it'd be like, oh, it's the shit ton worse now than it is, 10 years ago.
K1, I'm going to recommend a book for you. It's I don't know if you're using translation on here or whatever, if you speak really good English or whatever it is, but read Scott Horton's book Provoked.
That book ain't
You
gonna
will
do shit
be
for him.
very, very well. It's an interesting perspective, if nothing else.
It gives them context, sure, but it's
context
like
matters.
He's living it.
I'm saying is if you want to understand like the Western perspective of this thing,
that's fair. Right, go ahead.
Bell,
and
you
write
got
the book down in the
write the name.
Yeah,
of the book
because it's just
Provoked by Scott Horton.
I don't know how to word it without sounding clunky, but it's like you live in you per se live in a country that isn't one of the countries that's fucking up countries that you live in. And unfortunately, we were born in a country that likes to fuck up other countries. I'm sure you hear about America's big migration problem at the southern border. Right. You hear our big migration problem on the southern border, right? All these migrants are coming. We have all these migrants coming through the southern border into America. It's because their countries are decimated and they have no place to go because of this very thing that we're talking about that America and Russia is doing to Ukraine. America did to all of these southern countries and made them just corrupt and just places not to live, that everyone that lives there feels like they have nowhere to go. Look at the huge migration crisis that's happening in Europe. It's because the UK, Russia and Afghanistan, America and Afghanistan, all the big fucking power players fucked up the Middle East so bad that all of Europe has a huge migration crisis because they had nowhere to go. The reason why Iran is the way it is because we instituted a coup there in the 50s against the king that they had for their oil. And then we wonder why the Middle East doesn't trust America. It's just the same playbook over and over and over again. So when you hear people, us over on this side of the pond, this side of the Atlantic, when we talk about why we compare Ukraine to Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these other countries, is because it's just we're mind-numbingly banging our head against the wall saying, we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we bitch about it, because it's like
at the end of the day, what we can say to KI1 is we're on your side.
Yeah, we're on the side of
the
Ukrainian people 100%. Like it's sad to see again another country get torn apart because two bigger countries want the resources that are there, or the geopolitical chess piece of being able to put a military base there, or all of a sudden saying Ukraine is a part of NATO, because America is really fucking it up, making it worse for you guys by keep talking about NATO, because that's what ultimately Russia doesn't want. Is NATO.
Right. I think that's a good place to end. We're doing another show this week, Corey. You want to kill it here? We got probably I got a half page of notes we can carry on to the next episode on Friday.
KI1, I'm sorry that you are stuck in a country, not in a country, it's stuck in your country that is being fucked with and tinkered with by powers that your country's government or you as an individual in Ukraine have no power over. And it's honestly one of the saddest things, you know what I mean? Like it's
we hate government.
Yeah. Because what's happening in your country is because of government in general.
We're rooting for you. Subscribe.
Well, I'm rooting for the people to just stop dying and being able to just have the same access to just life and just being able to just fucking move along like we have here.
Enjoy the things we enjoy. He said he's not stuck, he stayed. Well, we respect that for sure.
I respect that 100% because he loves his country.
Why don't you like we would too. Why don't you tell the people where they can find us, Corey? And before you do, I'm going to remind everybody that since we missed our episode last week, Corey and I are going to be live again here on Friday, probably around the same time. We're going to give you 2 episodes this week since we gave you none last week because I got sick and Corey got his cornea blown out and Belle has the plague and I thought my dog was dying. It was just a comedy of errors that occurred last week, but we're going to be here twice for you this week. So why don't you tell the people where they can find us, Corey?
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
That's right. We didn't get to a lot of stuff, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it Friday. KI1, come on back. He asked if he had a few minutes. Come
we'll
on
be back again on Friday.
Shoot us a message if you got something to say. We'll absolutely listen. We'll throw it out there.
Because
anyway.
Obviously when we're talking about something that's happening on the other side of the world, perspective is key, and I'd love to pick your brain.
We just know the bullshit that our country does.
Yeah.
We don't know everything about what's going on the other side. So anyway, for Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos all night, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
And he's Dan Griffin.
It's been Libservative. And until next time, we are out of here.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.